Well, blessed Tuesday to you as we come with your daily encouragement. And I do apologize again. I've been trying to get going again on the daily encouragement, and it just has been a little slow because of a lot of things happening here in my life and also in the life of our church. But we're going to get back into a regular daily stream here of videos. And once we're done with Book of Revelation, we're still not done. We got a few more verses from chapter 22. We're going to go into First Peter and Second Peter. I think some neglected books of the New Testament that we don't always talk about. But let's get on with Revelation 22. We have reached the end of the book. We have reached the river of life. And one of the things you should notice is that we see a lot of imitation, a lot of representation, I should say, of the first chapter of Genesis, the Garden of Eden. And so the book of Revelation caps the Bible and it comes to full circle. We are back in the Garden of Eden. And so we're talking about the river of life that flows through the Garden of Eden. And so in we left off at verse 4. We're going to be in verse 5 today. And there will be no more night, and no need of not light or of lamp or of sun, for the Son of God will be their light, and they will reign forever and ever. Now, what do you notice about that? Day two of God's creation. First, on day one, God said, "Let there be light." And then day two, there was a separation between light and darkness. And light and darkness signify the marking of time. But in heaven, in the new heaven and the new earth, there will be no marking of time. It will be light all day. Now, we might say, well, do we sleep in heaven? And the answer is no. We have no need to sleep. Now, some of us get tired, and that's because we live in this life that is monitored by days and weeks and calendars. And that's always something that's how we live life in this world. But in eternity, there is no calendar. It is always day. In fact, Isaiah even put it in this word: they will run and not grow weary. They will continue on. And so it is a reminder that there is always daylight in heaven because there's no need for sleep. Now, I would suspect that depending on our orientation in this world, are we going to be all extroverts going to the party all the time that never ends? Possibly. But I also think that there will be time to be ourselves, to be alone. But all these are speculations. The key thing that we're learning from this river of life, this new heaven and this new earth, is the differences it's going to be from our present life. And so that's why there is this contrast between the different days of the week that is developing in Revelation 22. God is light, and in him there is no darkness. Now, one of the other things I've been asked is like, Pastor Matt, is it going to be like an eternal worship service? And to some extent, it will be a worship that never ends because Jesus is the light and Jesus will be the center of it. But we won't have to go to church. Every day will be church. You see, remember, and this is where we go back to our study with Dietrich Bonhoeffer when we had that book Life Together. We went through it the last year, and last year and a half we went through that. The whole idea of church is the gathering of the people of God. And so there is no need to gather because we are never sent out. The church has become the people of earth, the gathering who have Jesus at the center. So everything we do will be worship, everything we do will be work, and all the other things in between. Worship and work will not interfere with each other. Now we have concentrated times of worship, concentrated times of work, and sometimes we might even blend the two together if you've ever read the story of Brother Lawrence. It's one of the most fascinating spiritual books I've ever read, where he is worshiping God, but it is in the context of washing dishes. And it's called Practicing the Presence of the Lord. And it is a book about combining work and worship. Well, that is kind of a signifying of what we have going on in heaven. No night and no separation between the temple and our working life, our daily life. All of them will be intermeshed and together. But they already are. See, the illusion now is that we live in this world that will always last forever. Maybe you get into that moment sometimes where you wonder, another day, another week, another summer, another fall, and you just start to see the repetition again and again and again of the cycles of life. And to some extent, we promote that even with the Christian calendar. We have our season, we are now in the green season, the season of ordinary time. And then we have our season of Christmas, we have our season of Easter, Lent, etc. And you wonder, is it going to end? Well, the Christian calendar, yes, has repetition, but the Christian calendar leads to a point where there will be no separation of light and darkness, no separation between work and temple, and no separation of the seasons that we go through. Well, guess what? If you like Christmas, it will be Christmas. It'll be Easter. It will be also Lent, but to some extent, we won't need as much of Lent because our natures will be perfected in heaven, in the new heaven and the new earth. But we'll have moments where we will concentrate on different aspects, but all of them will not be separated. Now, you remember when we are in the Lenten season, we also have the reminder that we worship Jesus, we worship his resurrection, even before we count the days to celebrating Easter again. But to some extent, every Sunday is Easter, and every day is a new Easter when we rise from our sleeping. And so it will be in heaven. Every day will be light. Every day will be a new heaven and a new earth. For the old has passed away and the new is coming. So keep those in mind as we read this passage. It is the undoing of the beginning of creation, but it leads to a new Garden of Eden. Take care. God bless you today. We trust that these continue to be words of encouragement. We'll see you next time. Take care.